If you didn't know, there's been a lot of controversy around the cost of college not being worth it. This is because people spend upwards of hundreds of thousands of dollars on a degree that doesn't guarantee them a job. In fact, I'm pretty sure the unemployment rate for most new grads right now is higher than the average unemployment rate of most Americans. So this begs the question, what are you going to do about it? Hi, my name is Matt, and in college, I studied biomedical engineering, but eventually transitioned to software engineering, landing a high-paying six-figure job. On this channel, we explore everything related to succeeding in software engineering, both professionally and personally. If you're into that sort of content, feel free to subscribe. Now, let's be real. Coding has never been expensive to learn, in my opinion. With any sort of knowledge that's out there, you can just go out and get it. Go to the library, pick up a book, read it. It might not be as good of a solution as learning from an expert or going to a professor to learn underneath them, but the knowledge is all there. As humans, we have this infatuation of thinking that we need to spend more money on a better solution in order to get better results. But in reality, learning something and getting better at something is just putting in time and effort towards learning it, no matter what it is. There is no optimization of going to the gym every single day. You just have to go to the gym every single day. And if you pick up a heavy weight and lift it over your head, you're probably going to get pretty strong. Now, let's not dive too much into the philosophical aspect. I want to talk about my journey and how I went from biomedical engineering to software engineering. So throughout my time in college, I did a lot of studying within biomedical engineering. Software engineering was super interesting to me, but it just seemed so far away. I mean, I was good at my biomedical engineering job. I 3D modeled devices. I did a bunch of things with research and just, everything that I could do in biomedical engineering. But software engineering just seemed so far away. It just felt like something that I would never be able to learn. So what did I do? I did something about it. I said to myself, hey, rather than spending all this time on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, why don't I just learn something that's actually going to get me better results and outcomes in my life? And this was during college. This thought came to me after I kind of did the same thing with jiu-jitsu. Learning one thing is the same way that you learn anything. In jiu-jitsu, there are belt systems. You have a white belt, blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, black belt. For me, at the time, I was a blue belt. And it really astounded me how much I learned over the past 2-3 years of jiu-jitsu at that point. In fact, I was winning competitions because all I did was show up to practice, read about jiu-jitsu, learn about jiu-jitsu, and then just do it. And hey, my skills that I gained over that time got me as good as I was in jiu-jitsu, and I was winning things. So why don't I just apply this same mindset to something that's going to make me money? In jiu-jitsu, you have to fail a lot in order to realize the skill level you're at. You're going to get submitted a lot and you're going to lose a lot, but in software engineering and coding, it doesn't really feel like that so much. Sure, you may say to yourself, oh, I don't know how to do this, but I can just look it up or I can just go to the documentation. But in reality, that means you don't know it. Imagine you're in a jiu-jitsu match and you said, hold up, let me go watch this video real quick, figure out how to deal with this position, and then I'll get back to you, right? No, it doesn't work like that. In work, you're going to have to figure things out. You're going to have to learn on the job and basically just understand how to learn new things really quickly. And that's why these resources are so useful. It's not so much about, hey, this is like the perfect way to learn something. It's that these resources are always here. You're going to be able to pace yourself accordingly and improve as much as you want. It's all up to you. That's the problem, though, at the same time, because most people don't actually have the accountability to go out and do all these problems. So like you're telling me if you did every single problem that NeetCode has on his website, the NeetCode 150, NeetCode 250, whatever, that you wouldn't get better at coding interviews? Of course you would. It really just depends on how you do them. Are you actually doing them? Are you actually spending the time and understanding how the problem works? Or are you just copying and pasting from the solution box into the IDE and saying, like, that's I did it, I learned it, right? But no, that's not how things work. Let's be honest, the hardest part of coding interview prep isn't the actual problems themselves, it's staying accountable. That's exactly why we here at the Software Engineering Academy have created a 30-day LeetCode problem challenge. Here's how it works. You commit to solving 20 problems in 30 days. We track and keep you accountable with weekly meetings every single week. And by the end of the 30 days, if you've done the 20 LeetCode problems, then you just get your money back. The only way that you lose is if you don't show up. So here's your choice. keep failing alone, or join a system that actually guarantees results. Sign up for the 30-day LeetCode challenge down below, solve your 20 problems, build up that habit, and actually stay accountable. And in terms of price per performance as well, I don't really want to talk too much about how these different websites are priced. All you need to know is that, hey, there are free options, there are, paid options. I really think that, this sort of thought where it's like, oh yeah, the more you pay money, the better something is not really the case. I've spent thousands of dollars on courses that have taught me some pretty important stuff, but at the end of the day, I could have probably figured out that information on my own. It would have just taken me more time. And that's what's so important. Everybody wants to spend their time super valuably, super efficiently, but they also won't turn off their phone and they won't delete Instagram off their phone as well. So let's just jump right into it. Let's start with getcracked.com. I personally love getcracked.com because this website proves to you that you don't know what you're talking about if you are trying to say that you're competent at coding. You need to be able to understand these questions in order to say that you can move forward and are actually a good programmer. The reason I say this is because it's not so much about, hey, I'm able to spit out a LeetCode problem. It's, do you understand the underbelly of how Python works, how computers work? And this website does a great job on actually explaining that. I only have one question solved over here, so let me just give it a shot. Assuming Python version is greater than or equal to 3.5, what is the output of the code below? I'm gonna say this, yeah, okay. In Python, type hints are purely used for static code analyzers such as MyPy. At runtime, a Python program will remain dynamically typed and will behave the same without type hints. 1 + 1 is 2. Adding the tuples 1 and 2, 3 will concatenate them and create a new tuple 1, 2, 3. Adding the strings 1 and 2, 3 will produce the string 1, 2, 3. So awesome. This website shows you, hey, this is how Python actually works. This is how you're going to learn how the underbelly of it actually functions, rather than you just saying, hey, I know how to spit out two-sum, but I don't really know how it works. Let's try a couple more questions and see where we can go from there. Let's give // a shot. What is the output of this program? So // makes it so that when you are dividing an integer with another integer, it doesn't have a remainder. So what this is going to do is it's going to equal to -1/2, but it's going to round down to 0, I'm fairly certain. But maybe I'm cooked, maybe I don't know. It's also -1/2, so it might go down to -1 because it'll always go down to the lower value. I think that makes more sense, so I'm going to give that a shot. Yep. So the floor is -0.05. That means that it's going to go down rather than up, not to 0, to -1 instead. If you don't understand that, I just recommend going to this website, giving it a shot, asking AI how the heck does this work, and going from there. The loop's last laugh. Observe the code snippet before. What is its output? Multipliers equals empty array for I in range 4. Multipliers dot append lambda x equals I times x. What is the output of this line? Print multipliers 1, 10. I'm gonna give that a shot and see how it goes. Oh, okay, let's see. This is the classic Python closure gotcha caused by the late binding of loop variables and closures. Here is what is happening in each step by step. Loop runs 4 times, 0, 1, 2, 3. On each iteration, you apply lambda plus multipliers. The lambda doesn't capture the current value of I, like 0, 1, 2 at each iteration. Instead, it captures a reference to the variable, okay, variable I itself, the object in the outer scope. After the loop finishes, I still exists in the outer scope with its final value being 3. Oh, so when you call multipliers later, pi looks up the value of I at the moment of execution, not at the moment the lambda was created. So if the lambda runs as if it was x equals x times 3, computing 3 times 10 equals 30. I was actually kind of looking at this one too, mainly because I felt like there was some trick coming because it's the last laugh. So essentially what it's saying is that I, after you iterate through all of these, stays as 3, not as like the place that you're in when you're like iterating over the line, right? So maybe I won't even draw this out, but essentially, yes, this question is great because, hey, I didn't really understand that I, after it's done iterating, will stay as the last value in range 4, which is 3. And so multipliers I, which is 3 times 10 is 30. And yep. And now I said that we were going to do one more, but we got to try a cracked problem, and it's blocked. So getting cracked starts here, guys. If you don't know who Coding Jesus is, he's the person who made this account. He's on YouTube. He makes great videos about software engineering. Check his channel out, and also give this problem a try and let me know how it goes. All right. In terms of ratings and putting these things on a list, I'm going to put Get Cracked in A tier. A, B, C. I don't want to go that intense. All right, so let's jump now to Boot.Dev. So if you haven't heard, Boot.Dev has this new feature where you can type in a coding problem that you want, and it'll generate one for you using AI. And this is completely free right now, but it also takes about 45 seconds for it to load. So we're going to come up with a question that's going to help me, maybe you, learn a little bit more about, I don't know, let's say something easy, arrays and dictionaries. Give me a problem. Again, any one of these websites is great for learning any sort of coding challenge. And here we go, top K frequent words. This is actually kind of crazy that this already exists. Implement a function that finds the K most frequent words from an array of words. Use an array and dictionary to count the frequencies, then return the top K words ordered by higher frequency link. For ties, lexicographically smaller words, alpha becomes for beta. The provided code will call your function for 2 test cases and print the result as space-separated words. Requirements: implement top K frequent, use a dictionary for frequency counting, return exactly K words in the list. And here we go, input words, K equals 2. Okay, so this is just top K. Yeah, this is the problem I feel like I've seen before. Do not print anything inside top K frequent. The main program will handle printing. Keep the return values in correct order. Okay, shoot. This is like a legit problem. So we have apple, banana, apple, orange, kiwi, all this stuff, words too. And the thing that we have to do is we have to count the frequency. Let's see. That finds the K most frequent words from an array of words. So it counts how many apples there's been, how many bananas there's been, and if it's like 2, that means that it counts from there. Let's see. And this is the function that you have to write. So I personally don't feel like making this video at 30 minutes. I know that I could probably solve this pretty fast if I just had some time to look back and iterate. I think the way that you would solve this would be by just using, essentially like it says, using a hash map to add the words on the left and then the amount of times the words pop up on the right, and then you would go down each word on the right, and then you would say, oh, is this greater than or equal to the K value? And if it's greater than or equal to the K value, then you put out the word. But let's see. 0, for W in words, frequency W equals frequency.get, W plus 1. Yep, I remember this question. Unique words equals a list free keys. Unique words.sort, key lambda W, frequency W, return A. Okay, so I'm surprised that they used sort here, actually. I think there's a way to do this. Well, I don't know what it wants in terms of the O of N. But yeah, that's essentially how you would solve this problem. You would use this sort of website in order to do it. I think this is a great tool. This is actually my first time using this, and I'm very surprised how fast it was able to come up with a problem, because like it's not easy coming up with a good problem for you to practice and actually give yourself a shot when learning. Because when you're doing a course, when you're going through and walking through like how something works, after you do it and you go to the next page, you're going to be like, okay, I already know how to do this, because you memorized it. You don't actually understand how it works. The fact that this tool exists and you can create new problems using just AI is kind of spectacular. And if you want to try out Boot.Dev, please let me know how it works. And I want to try this more, honestly. Okay, so we're going to stop this right here because Boot.Dev is awesome. I definitely want to move Boot.Dev, this tool, up to A tier as well. And we're going to go to the next one and grab Nico.io, which I am a current user of. So NeetCode's website is great. I think if you are somebody who has done coding practices or interview practice before, you definitely are familiar with who this guy is. All of his videos, all of his lectures, his courses are really easy to follow, and I personally really like them. Specifically, his Python for coding interviews. I believe that this section, hash maps and hash sets, will honestly get you so far ahead in coding interviews and just understanding how Python works, because these tools are used within pretty much most coding interviews and coding problems. Sure, there might be some linked lists or some sort of, I don't know, dynamic programming problem that doesn't use hash maps and hash sets, but in reality, most medium problems are. So just understanding everything about hash maps, understanding how hash sets work, going through these problems and actually giving them a shot will make you a better software engineer and help you get those more difficult roles. So let's look at this problem. Behind lists, hash maps are the most commonly used data structure in Python. And yes, I have solved this problem before, but this is for you guys. So in Python, hash maps are implemented using the dict class. The common operations on a hash map include insertion, access, deletion, lookup. Okay, I'm certain that you guys can check out this website on your own. And then I'm just going to go through the problem and see if I can do it. So I'm not going to lie with you guys. I just did try this build hash map for like 5 minutes and I wasn't able to solve it. And I looked at the answer, but I do know what I was doing wrong. You got to look at the hints. There is a zip function over here, which I did not use. So let's do that. So for this output, what it does is it sets a hash map so that we can, or it sets a dictionary so we can put the values inside of it, and we can add the value and key into this like hash map over here because that's what we want to return. So we'll do for key value in keys comma values, and let's not forget to zip that because this needs to be zipped. And we're going to do output key equals value, and then we're going to return output. Easy peasy. That's what it should be. And yeah, it looks like that was correct. Okay, so yes, NeetCode's website is probably the best one in terms of learning Python and learning programming for coding interviews because it's literally just focused on that. I personally think that I need to spend a lot more time here, but I personally believe that using these sort of tools is honestly better than a lot of the college courses that you're going to have, mainly because this is actually exactly what you need to know in order to pass those coding interviews. Like, not knowing how to be able to do this probably hinders my ability to get higher wages in the future. That means that whatever investment you put into this is probably going to be worth it if you can get more than, I don't know, 50,000, 100,000 out of your career. So just give this website a shot. I really believe in NeetCode, and I think he's a great tutor, especially his videos are awesome. So we're going to put this in A tier as well. So now we're on to FreeCodeCamp.org. So FreeCodeCamp has awesome articles. It has awesome like full-length videos on courses. And yeah, it's absolutely free. I personally use FreeCodeCamp's. They have a app that's almost like a Duolingo for programming. I use that a ton. And yeah, let's see what they got over here. So FreeCodeCamp, I've used in the past before. I really like their content from their YouTube channel and the videos that they make. I've only done one of their certifications before, and I think that was the backend and development and API certification. You should really check this website out. I mean, their legacy Python, I'm pretty sure like is a great course for just getting started. But herein again lies the issue with courses. This is completely free, and even now I feel like, oh, this knowledge is here. I can just come back to it whenever. I didn't pay for it. It's like always there. But in reality, the knowledge that is on whatever paid website that you want to go to versus the knowledge is on here is probably exactly the same. And if not, the free version is more comprehensive and actually shows you exactly what you need to know. So you don't need to pay thousands of dollars in order to get an education in coding. College is important, yes, but I'm also certain that a lot of college courses that most people do today are 100% outdated. In reality, the most important thing is that you are just always constantly learning. I think as a software engineer, that's kind of the curse of being in such a fast-moving industry. Like, civil engineers don't really have to learn any new sort of way that concrete is going to be poured. Maybe sure, there's some eco-friendly way to do it, but like once they learn their skills, once they get their certifications, they're able to just leverage that and continuously use it for the rest of their careers. For software engineers, we constantly have to be learning. There is too much information out there for us to be experts in. We need to spend time learning new skills, refining the skills that we already have. And hey, if you want to spend money on learning these skills, sure, it might be worth it. But to me, I think the most important thing is accountability. All of these courses, all of these things, even if they were free, you're probably not going to actually do them because you have nobody holding you accountable. The thing that holds most people accountable is investing a ton of money up front and then saying to themselves, hey, if I don't do this, then I wasted all that money and everything was pointless. And yeah, I think that's a perfectly fine way for you to psychologically convince yourself in order to do something. And that's why I'm pretty much going to offer that same service for you, except it's completely free. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I've also left some affiliate links for the services that I talked about in the video, so if you're interested in pursuing any of them, feel free to check them out. My name is Matt. I hope you got some value out of this video, and thank you for watching. Peace.